In this section, we will see how to design and code a form using Angular 2. We will keep it simple so that you understand all the concepts of building a form using Angular. Let's create an Angular seed project. Let's add Bootstrap to our index.html. Search for Bootstrap and click on the wizard icon, and Bootstrap will be added to your index.html. In app.ts, we are going to put this tag in the template section called employee form. So actually we will not be writing the code of our form in our root component that is in app.ts, but we will create a separate component for our form. Now let's add the directive employee form component, which will guide Angular to locate where the employee form tag is located. It is located inside employee form component. Let's import employee form component too. Now let's create the file for employee form component. So far we have written our template as inline HTML, but now we will write it in another file since we will be writing more HTML for our forms. So let's create the HTML file for it. Now let's start writing our code for the component. First we will import component and ng form since we are going to work with forms. Now we will be using employee class for our model, meaning our form will be mapped to employee class. Our form will read data and store it in employee class, or our form can read data of an employee class and display it. So let's write our employee class in employee.ts file. It's simple for now. We are just going to have a property in that class called name, which will be string, and we will store employee name. Now back to our component. Selector will be employee form that we had referred in app.ts. Now instead of template here, we will have template URL property since we will be using a file instead of inline HTML. Inside our employee form component, we will create a property called model, and it will refer to an instance of our employee class. We are going to declare a property called submitted, which we will use to check if the form is submitted or not. When the form is submitted, we will set it to true, and initially it will be false. OnSubmit will be called when the user clicks on submit button. We also have active property set to true when form is active. Now we have a function new employee that will be called when the user clicks on new employee button. So we will initialize the form fields with new employee name. Here we are going to write a method called diagnostic. This method will provide us with JSON representation of our employee object, which is model in this code. So it will help us debug our form when coding.